My name is Olumide Onakoya, and I'm a ventures partner for startups here at the Bulb Africa under its startup engine. A typical day usually involves I get in before 9, around 8:30, 8:45. I settle in, then I check our pipeline. So we've set up an account for the Bulb on a platform that I shall not be naming. And they just usually check some of the new startups that have come into our ecosystem, and they start evaluating the pitch decks that they've sent to us, the kind of funding that they're looking for, and how far along they are in the startup life cycle. So that usually preoccupies most of my day. I also do some research on some of the industry tech trends, what's going on in the industry. Usually read up on Tech Cabal and TechCrunch, TechPoint as well, see what's going on in the market, see what the VC market is saying, and then also the last thing I usually do is meetings with partners and then internal meetings. It's just usually discovering new businesses. So over the last 3 years, we at the Bulb Africa have discovered some really impactful businesses. Some of them in logistics, some of them in fintech, some of them in health tech, some of them in ed tech. So it's just seeing the best part of my job is usually getting to discover these new companies that are making great strides and making impact in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. No, actually that role just kind of actually fell into my lap. There was a year that we were running our accelerator program, and the program manager left the company at the beginning of the year. So they needed someone just to kind of hands-on help the former program director at the time, just help run the program. And so I was designated to kind of span away programs in the programs operations associate role. And I just did that for that cohort of the program. And then they saw the success of the program, and then I was then promoted to the ventures partner for startups. Okay, so my role typically involves primarily helping startups find funding. So whether that is pre-seed or seed or series funding, it's typically connecting those startups to potential investors that like what they're doing. So we form partnerships with some VCs here in Nigeria and internationally to help provide them with those funding opportunities. We also help provide them with some partnership opportunities that they can then use to grow and scale their business. We also connect them with mentors. We also provide them with necessary business materials. We also help them do some registry, some legal stuff. So that is usually how we help. My job usually helps startups achieve their goals. Which role would I want at the Bulb? So at the Bulb, I've had 3 different roles so far. I first started as a marketing intern. Then I did business development and associate. Then I'm in my current role as ventures partner. But I think if I was to say another role I would probably want to do, I'd probably say product management. I'm not really a software engineer by trade, but I feel like product management is something that's a way of the future, because people are always going to be building apps, they're always going to be developing software. So I feel like that's something I want to get into. My main reason for working at the Bulb Africa is just really the environment and the culture. It's something that suits my personality, my values. It's pretty laid back, but then we also get the work done. Everyone knows that when it's crunch time, everyone puts in all the efforts and then tries to get the work out. So that's really the main reason, the culture here at the Bulb Africa. When I'm not working, it really depends. I'm a big sports fan, so I watch football on the weekends, and I also follow some American sports leagues. I follow the NBA. I also follow the NFL. I'm a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. And then if I'm not watching sports, I'm probably on Netflix watching a movie or watching a historical documentary. My favorite character at the Bulb so far, there are 2 people. One is Shay, former business development manager, Shay Oyefeso, who really mentored and grew me whilst I was still getting my feet wet at the Bulb Africa. And the other person would be Obuluaji, who was the former business development manager for partnerships. He was really like a brother to me, and we formed a really special bond. So I'll say those 2 people. Fun fact about me that people do not know. I don't really know per se. I don't think there's a fun fact. I mean, I'm a pretty open book, so anytime anyone usually asks me anything, I'm pretty open. And there's nothing surprising per se about me. One thing I'm most proud of is the fact that I have 2 degrees. I got to have 2 degrees at the age of 22, 23. So usually the way things work in Nigeria is that people usually do the first degree, then they go on to work for a while, then they do that NYSC, then consider going back to getting masters, but I didn't want to have to leave school, start working, then have to get back into middle school. So I'm pretty proud that I got 2 degrees at the age of 22. There have been lots of times here at the Bob that I've been down, but someone's always just pushing me to do more, and I've always been able to tap into that extra and then go the extra mile, and then efforts, just always trying to make things work, particularly as I'm dealing with other people's businesses and they constantly need help, so I always need to put effort into my job. So how do I feel about being the person of the month? I would say I'm pretty surprised. I was really shocked when I got the notification on the person of the month, because I usually work behind the scenes and my face is not really known out there, so it was a big shock, so it was pretty surprising. My final words would be, don't get bogged down if by the age of 22, 23 you still don't really know what you want to do in life. The beauty about life is when you're young, you have all the time to make all the mistakes, you have a lot of time to try a couple of things out before you become a full-fledged adult that has a lot of responsibility. So always be kind to yourself and realize that there's a lot of time. There's time for you to still try and figure things out. So thank you guys for having me as person of the month. It's really great speaking to you guys. So what you can do for us is like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on all our social media platforms.